What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So, this video, we're going to cover some common questions and comments that I receive about kayak fishing. Stay tuned. So, here we go, guys. These are just some comments and questions that I've received in the comments, on social media, that I most commonly see. So, we're going to dive into them. Let's start with this one right here.
Man, that must be nice. I can't see anything from down here.
Yeah, standing makes a big difference. You ought to give it a try sometime.
So, now, there you go. Basically, do you recommend a sit-in or a sit-on style kayak? And for kayak fishing, I almost always will say a sit-on style kayak for fishing because I think that they are just so much more versatile and customizable to allow you to set up your kayak exactly how you want for fishing. Now, sit-in, you're very limited. You're basically sitting in the kayak, closer to the water, and well, that's about it. So when it comes to a sit-in or a sit-on, now some of the benefits are basically in a sit-in, you can take maybe a rod and or maybe a couple rods, and if that's what you want and that's all you're looking for is to take maybe one or two rods and just get out there and enjoy the water, a sit-in is perfectly fine for you. I feel that a lot of today's new fishing kayaks are sit-on style, are just a lot more stable and much more customizable to allow you to enjoy your time on the water a lot more. Now, from holding rods in a kayak crate, basically keeping some gear in a kayak crate, sitting up above the water, and you know, you got track mounts. We have just so much stuff that we can add on to a sit-on style kayak that is just much more beneficial than a sit-in style. So, question number 2. Check it out.
You okay, man? You should have went with Wilderness Systems.
I bought this cheap piece of junk. I shouldn't have listened to my wife.
So, this is another good one. I'm a big guy. I am 6'2", 250. I am 6'5", 300. Is there a specific kayak that you recommend? Now, for me, the Wilderness Systems Recon 120, that is my, I mean, I'd recommend this to anybody who is looking for an extremely stable kayak. I can stand up in this kayak and I can fish with no problems. I don't think I've ever even remotely come close to tipping this. Not even on purpose. I've tried to purposely lean and it just stays very stable. It's 39 inches wide, guys. So this is wider than some John boats that I've seen. You know, people are running like a 1236 John boat, a 1436. You know, that's 36 inches wide. This kayak is wider than that. So very, very stable and just an amazing kayak, whether you're just a big guy or you're just a smaller guy looking for a very stable platform. This is definitely it. A lot of the new kayaks that are out, like the Wilderness Systems Tactical Pro, extremely stable. You know, you got your Bonafide, the XTR, that is going to be a very stable kayak. The, you know, the new canoes, basically all the nicer kayaks that are out today, specifically made for fishing, they're going to be stable. But I highly recommend the Recon 120. Very stable platform for you guys. I wouldn't steer you wrong with that. I am not affiliated with them. I would love to be, but I'm not. But that's just my opinion. Very stable. Anybody I've allowed to sit in this, they said they felt so comfortable and just very, very safe from flipping and staying comfortable. So, next one. Check this one out.
Hey, man, do you really need a fish finder? Isn't that like cheating? Look at this setup.
The age-old question: do you need a fish finder? Or I hear, that's kind of like cheating. Or you don't need a giant fish finder, live scope, all them. Everybody's heard them. For me, a fish finder is almost like a mechanic using a scanning tool on a car. It's just going to help you. It's just a tool to help you. And for me personally, I wouldn't ever go without a fish finder. Yes, I run a 9-inch screen, a Garmin. Is that necessary? No, but I keep it out in front of me, large screen, larger view for me, and that's what I was looking for. In fact, if I could run a second 9-inch screen or even a 7-inch, I'd like to keep one just for side scan and then one for like a down view. But a fish finder, I mean, it's exactly what it's doing for you. It's reading the water column underneath you. The side scans allowing you to see structure left and right of you. And basically, if there's no fish there, why are you even wasting your time fishing, right? You're just wasting time. So that is my biggest thing. I just think it's a tool that you use to help you find fish or structure, or depending on some of your models, routes. You can mark coordinates. And if you find something that you like, well, guess what? You can easily find that. If you mark it on your fish finder, you can get back to it and you can fish it again. So this is one thing I don't think I would do without. Again, you don't need a 9-inch screen. Garmin makes like a 4-inch striker. It's about $100. It's a fantastic unit. It's all you need.
Man, how many fishing rods you need in that little thing? Ha!
Many as I can fit.
Yeah, how many fishing rods do you need? Why do you need so many, right? So for me personally, I take anywhere usually from 3 to 4 up to 6. So reason being, I do run some with just strictly braid. I run some with mono. I run some with fluorocarbon, and I run some with braid with a fluorocarbon leader. Now, it's all depending on the water conditions. It's all depending on what I am throwing. And the main reason is because I don't want to have to just keep cutting my line and swapping baits. If something's not working, I can just throw it back in my crate. I can grab another rod and I can just continue fishing. There's no lapse in time and I'm not wasting time on the water. I can just quickly, fish and swap out rods instead of cutting line, retying, and for instance, I've seen it before where I've been fishing and the top water bite was just going crazy. So now I swap to one of my top water rods and I start throwing that. Or I see an area where I am running a little bit deeper. I see on my fish finder, all right, there's some deeper fish. Well, now I can swap out a rod and I can get down to the deeper water column and start catching and, concentrating on those fish. So for me, it's just really another way for me to enjoy the water without wasting time, enjoying my time out on the water, I should say, without wasting time, and just swapping rods without having to swap baits and retying hooks and everything nonstop. But that's going to be one of the other main comments, questions that I always hear. So how about this one?
Hey man, nice setup. Is that a motor on the back of your kayak?
Yep. Electric.
A motor on a kayak, that's hilarious.
Watch this!
Oh no!
Hold on, going in gear.
Wait! Okay.
See you, buddy!
Oh, there we go. Right. So paddling kayak is 100% nothing wrong with it. Now, I absolutely love paddling and enjoying just my time out on the water, even if I don't care about fishing and I'm just out, maybe with a couple friends, maybe with the family, just enjoying paddling around. Yeah, we'll paddle. We'll enjoy the time out, enjoy nature, right? But for me as a fisherman and enjoying fishing, well, sometimes I want to get to certain locations and paddling, it just takes way too long. Adding a motor to your kayak, giving me that power the electric trolling motor on my kayak, it allows me to cover so much more water and allows me to get to where I want to get to much quicker. So that is for me going to be one of the biggest benefits. Not to mention, maybe you're just getting tired as the day goes on and you're like, man, I got a long paddle back. Well, no, you, you got a long ride back with just sitting there and enjoying, the weather and enjoying being outdoors while being pushed along. So for me, power is the way to go, especially on these larger fishing kayaks. And it's just for me the smart way to go.
Man, look at all that junk on that little kayak. Why don't you just buy a boat already? Ha! Ha ha ha! This is Yakking Life.
How about that one, right? So, this is probably the biggest comment question that I get all the time, and I'm sure you guys have heard it too. Um, you know, why don't you just buy a boat? Well, if I wanted a boat, I would buy one. In fact, I do plan on buying a boat, but it's not because I don't enjoy kayak fishing. It's because maybe I can, take, my wife with me. Maybe I could take family with me. Who knows? I can, duck hunt much easier from a boat. Maybe I want to go fluke fishing in an area where I just don't feel safe and comfortable in a kayak. But guys, if you want to buy a boat, buy a boat. Kayak fishing to me is just so much fun. Not to mention, it allows you to get into extremely shallow waters. It allows you to get to areas where boats cannot get to. I completely and absolutely love fishing from a kayak, and that will never change. I will always own a kayak, whether I have it motorized or not, whether I have it completely just loaded up with gear or not. A kayak will always be part of my life and in this channel, and I absolutely love it. So, no, I don't want to just buy a boat and get rid of my kayak. I could do a lot of stuff with this kayak that boaters can't do with theirs, and same thing. They can do a lot of things that I can't do. So, I can't exactly go out on really rough, choppy waters unless if I want to be swimming and upside down, and no. But come on, we're basically two separate entities. We're not we're not the same. We Kayaking is just a blast. It's the whole sport's taking off and it's just fun. We have our own fishing tournaments. Just yeah, I don't want to buy a boat. I enjoy kayak fishing. This isn't boating life. This is yakking life. So, guys, thanks for watching. Listen, if you guys have any comments or questions that you guys get often, leave them down in the comments. I'd like to see what you guys get or what you hear or see, the most on the internet. But for me, these were probably some of the most common questions and comments that I receive. And I just thought it would be funny to make a video on them and just kind of share this with you guys. I am definitely genuinely interested in what you guys hear a lot of or what comments, questions you get. So leave them down in the description, but in the comments. But I'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks for watching.